Howdy. You saw the name of the channel. You didn't see my name. Maybe one of these days I'll add another title card that has my name, but I've not done it. The way I would want to do it, I'd have to redo the whole thing, and I'm not ready to do that. Being thoroughly amateur, I don't worry about it in any event. I have a bottle here. By the way, this is a sipping and talking video if you didn't realize that yet. I have a bottle here, and well, I'm going to have to redo my platform, find me a thicker one, at least for the front, to lift the bottles up higher or sit back even further. I don't want to chop the top of my head off, but this is chopping the bottom of the bottle off. This is a Larceny barrel proof. It is batch C922, means it's the third batch of the year. Come out in September of 2022. It's 126.6 proof. If you think in ABV, that's 63.3%. Cost me $69.99 at Kelly Liquors on the 11th of June, so I haven't had it too long. You're going to see me here in just a second pour only my second glass from it. Doesn't look great on the... Accidentally hit the cork, and it's over there. I did not spill the whiskey. Okay. I believe I was telling you that this is my second glass from this bottle. I did a video with the first glass. I can't remember what it was. It was another sipping and talking. That I know. What I was talking about, I don't recollect. I think I've already uploaded it. I'm not sure. I upload them in a randomized order, so I might record something one day and upload it the next, or I might record something one day and upload it in 2 years. It just depends on how the randomization happens. I won't do a review until the third glass, so the first 3 glasses from this bottle will be videos. I don't believe that's ever happened before. Oh man, that smells good. And then I spiked my nostril with alcohol. Oh yeah, it's opened up since that first glass. The first glass was good. I did not get this nose. It's all vanilla and caramel and butterscotch and cinnamon and brown sugar all in one glorious whoomp. There are people who debate the merits of various batches of barrel proof, like the Elijah Craig barrel proof or the Larceny barrel proof or what have you. I can't hardly ever afford something that costs this much, so I don't know. I do know, and this is going to lead me right into what I want to talk about, I do know this is better than regular Larceny. I have a video in my Whiskey Basics playlist which answers the question, should you go back every once in a while and try something that you didn't like? I'm going to stand up again. My mouth is dry. Yes, you saw me opening the freezer and taking it out. I like my Coke cold. Anyway, I've got that video, and the answer is yes, you should. And Larceny is one of the reasons that I made that video, because The first bottle of Larceny I had. The second I liked. The third, and by the time I had that third bottle, my palate had developed sufficiently that I took that as being my reaction to Larceny bourbon, which, by the way, is a wheated bourbon. Some folks can tell the difference between wheated and rye bourbon. Maybe I can a little by now, coming up on 5 years of drinking whiskey, but I wouldn't guarantee to do it. Even Aaron on Stuff and Whiskey, who is always discerning a wheater funk without ever defining it. I love Josh and Aaron. They got a great channel. I love the interaction between them. They're husband and wife. But sometimes they're aggravating. They don't define what they mean by wheat or funk. They don't define what they mean by craft funk. They just say that's craft, or that it has the funk. And I understand the subjectivity of whiskey, but I would love for them to define it. Of course, if they ever watch my channel, which I don't expect, I have this real small niche, real small channel. There's no reason they should come hunting me. They'll probably say, well, I don't like this that he does, and I don't like that he don't do, and on, and nothing wrong with that at all. Tastes different. But anyway, I decided that Larceny just isn't for me. The same thing had happened with Bernheim. I'd had one bottle of it, liked it, had a second bottle, didn't like it, and that was far enough along I figured my palate was sufficiently developed to judge correctly. But I realized that, in fact, what was it that got this through to me? It was a combination. It was Ironwood Harbinger, which is a bourbon out of Denison, Texas, from the Ironwood Republic Distillery, and Lone Elm Wheat Whiskey, which I have the single barrel and the small batch of. I need to get me some more Harbinger. I need to get me some more, well, I still have the Lone Elm. I'm out of Harbinger. And I need to do various other things, but my budget doesn't extend to buying 20 bottles at a time. I have to pick and choose. And they got me realizing just how different something can taste depending on proof. Now, the Harbinger was a minor factor in that, but I got all three at the same time, and they have a similar profile, not identical. Bourbon with, I don't believe the Harbinger is a 4-grain. I think it's a rye barley. But the wheat whiskey is 95.5, 95% wheat, 5% barley. And all this got me to thinking, because although the small batch Lone Elm is good, the single barrel is noticeably better because of the higher proof. There are exceptions. Some whiskey is better at 90 than at 100. Some whiskey's better at 100 than at 120. It just has to do with the flavor of it. But as a general rule, the higher the proof, the more flavor you get, simply because when you temper down whiskey with water, you're not just diluting the alcohol, you're also diluting the flavor. And so that got me to thinking, well, I need to try some of this higher proof stuff of whiskey that I didn't particularly care for. First one I did was the Bernheim. I have a little left of the Bernheim Barrel Proof. It is superb. It's considerably better than the 90 proof Bernheim. Oh man, that nose is like sniffing on a pot of candy, heated up candy that you're cooking. and there's just barely an earthiness in there. And I found that sometimes wheat gives me eucalyptus, and sometimes it gives me an earthiness. I suspect it has to do with the variety of wheat. Whew. I didn't really feel the proof till I swallowed. And then that 126 lit a blowtorch on my tongue. That is a smooth mouthfeel. That is the only time smooth really makes sense in the context of drinking whiskey. Oh, that's smooth. What does that mean? Well, one person says this, one person says that. All I can figure is it means I like it. Well, then just say you like it. The mouthfeel has to do with texture, how it feels in your mouth, and this feels smooth. And the taste, I didn't really try to pick it apart. I never get as much on the palate as I do on the nose, but that palate was following in the footsteps of the nose. Well, back to the larceny, back to the story, the history, whatever. I tried that with the Bernheim, tried the barrel proof, much better than the 90. And so I was in Kelly Liquors one day. I was looking for the old granddad's 114 7-year, which has gotten some good reviews from people I trust, people I know who like the regular old granddad 114 as I do. And so I want to try it. Well, I haven't been able to find it yet, but I was looking for the old granddad 114. It wasn't there. I think I might have had a secondary that I was looking for. I can't remember. If I did, it wasn't there either. But this was on the shelf, and I nearly chose something else, but I thought, you know, right now I have the bucks. I've been wanting to try it. I'll go ahead and get it. I did. First glass, I wasn't sorry at all. Right then, I knew it was better than the 90 proof larceny. Definitely better. This second glass is even better than the first. At the rate this is opening up and developing, it is going to be absolutely spectacular when I come to review it. And I review on the third glass because by then it has usually settled down into what it's going to be for the rest of the bottle. Sometimes I do a review and later on things change. I have two bottles right now. Old Overholt 114, that's a rye, and Devil's River Bourbon, which as I've gotten into the bottle have tasted less and less good. I liked both of them at the beginning. Now, I'm a bourbon guy, and I recognize that as I've gone along, I've become more and more a bourbon guy. It's not that I've just chosen that. That's what my palate wants. That's what my palate prefers. But I liked the Devil's River Bourbon, too, when I started. And I don't know, you may see this and never see the video I'm thinking about, but I'm thinking about if the next glass out of those two bottles, and I'm holding them back to let them open up some more, see if that helps. When I go to take another drink from them, if they're still not to my taste, I'm thinking of doing a video with them two, saying, you know, sometimes things start off good, and then either your palate changes or they change, and you don't want them anymore. We'll see. Hopefully they'll turn out good. I hate buying something, spending my money, which I earn. I'm not on EBT. I'm not on any form of welfare. Only been twice in my life, got off it the instant I could. I don't want to live on other people's money. If I spend money, it's because I earned it. Where was I going? Oh yeah, I paid my own money for them, paid good money. I don't want to throw them out, but sometimes I've had to do that. Things just got to where I couldn't drink them anymore. And out there in whiskey land, I know that there are people who are going to be thinking, if not screaming at the screen, you could share them, you could give them away. I have no connection with whiskey, the whiskey world, except online. And people I might mention it to here and there at work, you know. I've give a couple of recommendations to one guy. For various reasons, that's just not really an option for me. If it is for you, and I'm sure it is for almost everybody out there, great, fine, wonderful, run with it. For me, in my specific situation, there are a lot of things, well, there are a few things, several things, that really aren't an option, and that's one of them. There are some whiskeys I could just sit and sniff all day long. They smell so good. This is one of them. I don't know what other folks think about the C922. 922? The C922 batch of Larceny Barrel Proof. I am finding it, on the nose at least, absolutely high class. My tongue is so sensitive to heat. I don't eat red or green chili. I love the taste of chili. I love the taste of anything spicy. I can't eat it because it hurts. Alcohol, I can live with the heat because it evaporates quickly. Although there are things besides alcohol that can make a whiskey hot. You know, the hottest whiskey I've ever had was 120. I've had up to 134 that wasn't near that hot. There are other things in there too. But this one, only after I swallow for a little bit, it's hotter than I would expect from 126. But come the next glass, when I review this puppy, I am going to enjoy picking apart that nose. I'm going to enjoy picking apart that palate. And I haven't even thought about the finish of it in this video because I keep going and not focusing on the finish, but talking to y'all. Which this is Sippin' and Talkin', okay. Coming up on 19 minutes. But if you don't like a particular whiskey, you might try it at a higher proof. Now, again, this is whiskey for beginners. I never do this, but I'm going to do this. Whiskey for beginners. That's the niche I'm aiming towards. And I know it's a niche. You know, after you've been drinking whiskey a while, you're not a beginner anymore. You get to know things, which is how I got to where I'm at. But if you're a beginner in whiskey, please like the video if you do like it. Don't like it just because I say so. Please subscribe to the channel. I think you will get a lot of good information from it, which you can use as you work towards not being a beginner. And please share it here and there. Even if all you're doing is sharing it to say, look at this dude, look at how stupid he is. Or as the Brits say, stupid. Brits don't know how to speak English, period. End of discussion. I mean, how do you get daughter out of daughter? How do you get sore out of saw? How do you get lore out of law? You know, we don't know how to speak English. That's all there is to it with the Brits. But please like, please subscribe, please share. And I was going somewhere with that. I had something else in mind. I got distracted. I distracted myself. And so, I've said what I come here to say anyway. I've said what I meant to say in the video. So, we move that down out of my way. We hoist a glass. If you are drinking something along with me, feel free to join in. If you're not, it's no problem. I don't believe I have ever drunk along with someone in a video, but some do. This is good whiskey, so let me kind of improvise here. May all your whiskey always be good.